You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a successful motivational speaker and trusted life coach, Nancy knows how you can live the life you want regardless of the challenges you face. Although she's legally blind, Nancy's mission is to inspire others to overcome obstacles and live life full out. Call in at 800-333-0001 to ask Nancy for advice on topics such as relationships, finances, business, health, and more. Just call 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Hello, welcome to Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari, and today we're going to be talking about overcoming those obstacles in our life. Sometimes we make obstacles bigger than they need to be. Sometimes they are big events or big tragedies or crises in our life, and we have to find a way to manage them, to lessen their power over us. So we're going to be talking about all of that today, in addition to taking your calls. Again, the number to call in if you need advice on a topic or something that you're struggling with, that number is 800-333-0001, 800-333-0001. We're also going to be joined in our next segment with Roseanne Senoia. She's actually one of our inspirational guests who's going to be talking about being at the Boston Marathon bombings back in 2013. She was actually a survivor of that, and she'll be telling us her story. And we always want to hear from you. Again, you can reach out to us via email to share with us your questions or resources that you may want to share regarding today's topic at connect@livingfullout.com, connect@livingfullout.com. Also, if you have an inspirational story that you would like to share and you think you'd be a great guest, we want to hear from you. Again, the email address is connect@livingfullout.com. And to hear today's show and all of our shows, feel free to go to livingfullout.com, click on the radio show tab. Today's recording, as well as all of our past episodes, will be waiting there for you. So, going into today's show, obstacles. Again, when we have an obstacle or a challenge in our life, it's all about how we look at it. If we make it bigger than it is, then it'll gobble us up. We won't be able to find the light. We won't be able to get through the pain. But if you allow yourself to just slow down, take baby steps if you need to, grab support of friends and family and even strangers in some cases, you will get through it. You have to believe that nothing is too big that you can't overcome, get around, get under to get to the other side. We're going to go now to the lines and talk to one of our callers. Hello, welcome to the Living Full Out Show. Hello, welcome to the show. Well, unfortunately, we don't have that caller for some reason. I'll be hearing my producer shortly as to when that caller comes back. So going back to today's topic. Let's see. Hello, welcome to Living Full Out Show.
Hi.
There you are. Nice to hear your sweet voice. How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good. Well, share with me what's going on today. How can I help you?
I'm 21 years old and a recent college graduate. I want to buy property and develop it, but I currently don't have enough money to do both. Would it be best to wait until I have more money or go to a bank for a loan? I want to start working on my goals sooner rather than later.
You know what? The thing is, you have to decide at what point in your life, and maybe now is the time, you want to take on that debt. I believe that investing in real estate, investing in the stock market, investing in relationships is a great thing. I mean, it's definitely a good move. However, you have to be ready to take on that responsibility and really have an exit strategy or a long-term plan for what you want to do with that property. And I would consult with other investors, and I would check with them to see, okay, when you got started investing, what were some of the pitfalls? What were some of the cons? What were some of the lessons that you wish you had known? And really take all that in so that you don't make those same mistakes. At the same time, evaluating, what am I trying to do with this property? What does that look like? And put together a plan of best case scenario and worst case scenario. What if an investment doesn't go well? I have a lot of friends in real estate who have done very, very well. And I know a lot of people who also without the right plan in place, it becomes a weight in their life. And sometimes it burdens them. Does that make sense?
Thank you. Absolutely. I need to go make a plan.
Well, and you know what? I love that you're thinking big. And I love that you're not waiting until you're a decade or two from where you are today to take that leap. But at the same time, just think it through. Just make sure that you've got all your bases covered. If everything should go wrong, what can you do? What would be that exit strategy? Just so you have an idea. And if all of that's in place, then I say go for it. But before you take on a big loan, just know what you're going to do with that property and best case scenario and worst case scenario so you're prepared. Okay?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling in. You know, the thing about his question, which I'd like, is a lot of people put things in their way in life where they don't take risk. They don't dream big because they feel they can't. Maybe at one time they failed at something and they feel as though, well, why would I even try? Because I failed at that. Why won't I fail at this? I think it's great to not let our past predict our future. To know that with every mistake, failure we have, that we're going to grow, we're going to learn, we're going to get stronger. We're going to go back to the phone lines again and check in with another caller. Hello, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hello.
Hi, thank you for calling in. How can we help you today?
Well, recently, even with this election, I'm just finding it more and more difficult to tolerate people who have different political, social, and economic views than I do. And I know I need to learn to be respectful because a lot of these people are my friends who I've been friends with for so long. So do you have any advice on how to be more respectful towards them?
You know, it's actually a great question that you're asking. And the thing is you have to simplify things in life. Sometimes we get so emotionally attached that we forget. Do you and your friends like all the same dishes?
No.
Right? I'm sure somebody likes spicy food, somebody likes more bland, right? And do you agree with every movie that your friends and you like or don't like?
No.
Right? And even when we look at people that perhaps our friends date, I mean, I could think of some people that my friends have dated and I'm like, I would never date that person, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Right. So we have to allow our friends and ourselves to have our own likes and dislikes. So it's okay to like the current president, not like the current president. It's okay to like a spicy dish, not like a spicy dish. Do you see what I'm saying? It's all about your unique personality. It's your view of the world. Now, we can't shame other people. We can't say that our view is better than somebody else. And it would be very boring to me. Like if the whole world was made of all me's, I'd be bored. I'd be like, okay, I don't want to talk to myself every day, right? We want that variety.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Right? So embrace your friends. Now, I will tell you, I am not a debater. I don't like it. I don't like to argue. I don't like to debate. It's not my thing. Some people love it. So depending on who you are, whether you would like to engage in that confrontation or not, decide to end a conversation or keep it going. But don't make it bigger than it needs to be. Don't ruin a friendship over it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And go out there and call that friend today and just maybe not talk about politics. Just don't talk about religion. Whatever those hot button issues are, just go back to what and why you are friends anyway and let that be the guide. Okay?
Okay, that's so great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling in.
Of course.
Again, obstacles can be even things that we say, our views, our judgments of other people. I really invite all of us during this show today to open up our hearts a little bit more, to open up our minds, to allow ourselves to not be so limited in the way that we see the world, and also by shaming or limiting other people. That is the beauty of life, is it's all about evolving and growing. And, we can't hold somebody else back from their growth. And sometimes people's ideas change, whether that be a political idea or whether that be, again, whether they like spicy food or bland food. Now, let's also talk about obstacles that may be a little bit more serious, such as if somebody is trying to overcome a health challenge or managing a health challenge, or maybe they've had a tragedy or crisis in their life. You know, those are things that you really want to really digest, because that takes a little bit more commitment and time to overcome that obstacle. But I promise you, if you stay with us in the show, you will be inspired, especially by our next guest, Roseanne, coming up, talking about the Boston Marathons and being there that day and being a survivor. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I liked kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure.
Tomorrow?
Let's check with Mom. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm gonna return the kayak. Just make sure you have everything.
Yep. Can we walk home?
How about a taxi? 233 North Maple, please.
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Also, find fun activities to do like boating and biking or camping and hiking, plus much more. It's all right in your naturehood.
Best day ever.
A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Don't you wish that getting your child to eat right, move more, and spend less time in front of a screen could be as easy as pushing a button? It might not be that simple, but you do have more power than you know. And you can maximize that power with proven strategies, tips, and tools from the National Institutes of Health's We Can, or Ways to Enhance Children's Activity and Nutrition program. We Can offers all kinds of resources, including fun recipes and activities the family can do together to show you the way to live a healthier lifestyle. We're not saying it's easy. We are saying that it can be done. Take the first step today. Call 1-866-359-3226 for a free We Can Parents Handbook. And be sure to visit the We Can website at wecan.nhlbi.nih.gov for free information too. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Today, my new dad and I shot off a rocket in the park.
Today, my new son and I failed to shoot off a rocket.
He knew exactly what to do.
I had no clue what I was doing.
We set up the rocket.
Hit ignition.
And then
nothing. Sometimes I laugh when I'm frustrated.
Then out of nowhere, the rocket launched into the air.
The rocket did get into the air.
I've never seen anything fly so high.
And then crashed into a kite. Look out! Look out! And then the pond.
I'll never forget that day.
I'll never forget that day, even if I tried.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. A professional motivational speaker, Nancy can help you overcome obstacles and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back to the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari, and today we are talking about overcoming obstacles in our life. We all have them. We have them at various heights and widths and depths, and it's all about us. It's up to us to really look at a situation and believe with everything in us that we can get through it, and through the support of friends and families and research and resources, that we get to the other side and overcome the obstacles that are holding us back. And our inspirational guest today, Roseanne Senoia, is a perfect example of that. She actually was a survivor of the Boston Marathon bombings back in April 15th, 2013, which I can't believe it's been that long. But I'd love to welcome Roseanne to the show.
Hi, how are you, Nancy?
Hi, I'm good. Nice to hear your voice. I know that you have obviously been through years of recovery, and you're still going through it. You're still getting to know your body every day. Can you take our audience back to that day? What occurred in terms of the time that the bomb actually went off, what you felt, we'll kind of take it through the journey a little bit.
Sure. Well, to be honest, I was doing what I do every year on Patriots Day, what we call it here in Boston, because it is, we celebrate it as it being the beginning of the American Revolutionary War that started just outside of Boston. So every third Monday in April, we celebrate Patriots Day, but it's also Marathon Monday, and it's the Boston Marathon, which quite honestly has always been one of my favorite days in Boston. It's usually the beginning of spring and the trees are in bloom, and luckily sometimes we have really nice weather, and the majority of the time we have really nice weather. And so I had gone into the Red Sox game in the morning and then had a couple of friends that were running the marathon. So we always had a spot to meet up with everybody. Even if you were running the marathon, they would know to where to look for you along the course. And so that morning started out just the same as it had for many years in the past. And we got an automated alert update that one of our friends would be coming down Boylston Street, which is the last half mile of the marathon. So we stepped outside to see Jennifer coming down Boylston Street. And it was within, about 10 minutes of being out there that the first explosion happened down to our left. I was with four of my other girlfriends. And at one point, before anything had happened, I had kind of separated myself on the other side of a mailbox so that I could see Jen before everybody and just make sure I didn't miss her. And the mailbox was a little tall for me to see over. So we stepped outside and I separated myself. And when that first bomb went off, if you had been there before, all the same thoughts went through your head of what it could be. And within a matter of seconds of thinking, I turned to my right to run, and that's when the second went off, and I basically ran right into it. So,
and I'm just curious. You painted that picture perfectly, and I'm just curious, when that bomb went off, the second bomb, do you remember any of that? Do you remember what it felt like?
Unfortunately, I remember all of it.
Oh, no.
I would say. And yeah, it was very scary. It was surreal. It was as if I was in a horror movie, starring with a bunch of other people around me, and it was chaotic and not really knowing what had happened, why it had happened, where my friends went, where they were, and I found myself more or less on my own, sitting on the sidewalk. So how far did it blow you? Did it obviously knocked you off your feet? Yes, it definitely knocked me off my feet, and it felt like I had been kind of blown off the ground somewhat, and in kind of now looking back at pictures of where I knew I was, how I turned to run, and then where I landed, it did kind of blow me back towards the street. So just a couple feet, but there was definitely an impact. And I maybe would have gone further, but I recall like bumping into someone, I guess, mid-air. That probably stopped me from going back any further than I did.
And when you landed, when all this was going on around you, how did you get out of that spot? Were you able to crawl? Did someone help you? How long were you there for?
It seemed like forever, but it was a matter of seconds. And when that first bomb went off, it stunned people, and people then started to run. And when the second one went off, people either ran away or ran into help. And some college student came over, saw me sitting on the sidewalk, and unfortunately, I should say actually fortunately, I never saw my leg. It was kind of tucked under me, so he kind of tried to carry me out of the area, and what he thought was to safety, which it more or less was. So there was no way that I could have crawled. There was no way I could stand up. It wasn't so much gone, but it was to the point that my brain did register that something severe had happened.
And so he helped you get to where? To where the medics were, or where did you then go to?
He started to carry me across to the opposite side of the street, and I had gotten I'd gotten nauseous, and I just told him he had to put me down. And so I was actually in the middle of Boylston Street, and there were a period of time where it was civilians that helped, and then there was times that police were there, and then first responders, firefighters had shown up to help. So it was kind of free-for-all for those that, were not fearful of helping and that had run in to help in that situation.
Now, at some point, you were able to get on your way to the hospital, but it wasn't through an ambulance, was it? How did you get there?
No, there was a lot of talk around me that I could hear them discussing on how to get me there. All the ambulances, you could hear the sirens coming and then fading, and then coming and then fading. And basically, they were just all filled with injured people. So there was some collaboration and some brainstorming around me, and I ended up going to the hospital, not in an ambulance, but in what is called here, and I apologize for it being inpolitically correct, but a paddy wagon or a police prisoner transport vehicle. And in the back of that was brought with a firefighter who helped me, and then...
Well, Roseanne, yeah. Let's stop there because we're going to go to a commercial break. But I want to pick up on this when we get back because the story goes on, but she's a survivor, everyone, and she's an amazing woman. So stay with us. We'll be right back after this break.
Thank you.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know. wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. With millions of YouTube views, shares, Instagram likes, followers, and fans across the globe. But what do all these amazing pets have in common? Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a shelter or adoptable pets near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard? Well, that's entirely up to you. Visit theshelterpetproject.org and hear more about Hamilton the Pug, Toast, and Keyboard Cat's amazing adoption stories. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Your perfect pet is just a click away at theshelterpetproject.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
What if I could tell you that a full-blown wildfire was going to occur tomorrow right where you live? Tell you exactly which neighborhoods it would engulf and how fast it would do it. The first thing you would do is talk with your loved ones and make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a wildfire will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you make a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait, communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a trusted life coach, Nancy will help you overcome setbacks and embrace all life has to offer. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us. I am Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about overcoming obstacles in our life, how to really push through, have that determination and the vision for the fact that our life can be great, even despite tragedy or crisis or pain. And today we're talking with Roseanne Senoia, who was a survivor of the Boston Marathon bombings back in April 15th, 2013. So I'd like to welcome her back to the show. Hi, Roseanne.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi. So you were just sharing with us how, you were being taken from the event where all this occurred, all the bombings, and that you had been injured. You knew it wasn't good, but you didn't know the extent of it yet at this point. What happened when you finally got to the hospital and they opened the doors to that police vehicle and they started to take you out? What are you thinking at that point?
Well, quite honestly, I was thinking that those around me helped me as much as they could and did what they could. I did what I could to stay conscious because I felt as though that if I had lost consciousness, that I would die. And once I got to the hospital, I said to myself that now it was up to the doctors to do what they could. And it was basically in their hands. So once the doors doors opened to the wagon, basically I just let go. And from there on out, I was basically, I think, kind of in a delirious state at that point because I had lost so much blood, and I knew it was okay to let go where I was, and that help was there. So I kind of was out of it from that point Monday evening, which was probably about 20 past 3 until Tuesday evening, 24 hours later. They kept me in a sedated coma so that to make sure that my body would have time to adjust to the shock and blood loss and make sure that my organs didn't shut down and that I would continue to move on.
When you finally learned of the extent of your injuries, who told you that, and how much of you had been injured and in what way?
I was, believe it or not, in a few minutes of awful tragedy, I have had so much fortunate and luck. And I had an unbelievable surgeon, trauma surgeon, Dr. David King at Mass General Hospital here in Boston. And he's basically, as he was taking me out of sedation, he was there with my parents and my sister. And he's the one that told me that at that point, my right leg had been amputated below the knee, but he was going to have to go in a few more times to clean it out. And that would determine how my amputation would be. And unfortunately, I wasn't that fortunate at that moment or that time where I was kept below the knee. Unfortunately, I'm actually an above knee amputee on the right side at this point.
And what is the status of your left leg?
I ended up having a pretty good sized gash that they had to suture or staple together. But I think because of the angle I had been standing or turned at, I was very lucky, and my left leg is completely fine.
It's completely fine. It's completely fine. You know, in a previous conversation, everyone I had with Roseanne, one of the things that you taught me, and I'm legally blind, so I appreciate my eyes and what I can see, even though I can't see much. But you taught me just to value my kneecap, my ability to turn my knee. I've always walked away from that conversation, never looking at bending my knee or taking that for granted. And share with us what you have to go through in terms of the mechanics of being able to bend your knee and dealing with your prosthetic.
So that is the one thing I could care less about. From my shin down, I wish I had my knee back. If that was the one thing that someone said, what could you get back? I'd be like, just my knee. And it's something that my brain obviously does not have a connection to now. So I basically have to watch every single step I take, going upstairs, walking on sidewalks. And I live in the city of Boston, and it's uneven sidewalks. It's cobblestone, it's bricks, it's potholes, it's winter. There's, multiple inches, if not feet of snow. And everything is always a concern now, especially shoes a concern, and clothes fit differently because of the way the prosthetic fits. And, I still want to wear cute shoes and I want to wear cute clothes. And finding all of that has been very time sensitive, or time. It takes a lot of time to figure that out. It's not something that there's a handbook on how to deal with the situation. So it's a lot of learning. It's, me carrying around 10 pounds of dead weight on my right side of my body on, on the rest of my, like on my limb.
Yeah.
Take 10 pounds of dead weight and strap it to your leg and not bend your knee and see how, that goes. Now, I've had to learn the mechanics of the prosthetic, and I am fortunate enough to have a microprocessor knee, so that helps. But some people can't have their prosthetics covered under insurance, and they end up with mechanical knees. And I have a mechanical knee for my bike leg. I have multiple legs for different activities. And the mechanical knee, you don't know you've fallen until you're like laying on the ground looking up at the sky.
Well, now
this
opens me up to a question. So it's very interesting. So you have multiple legs for multiple needs. How many legs do you have, and when do you use them?
I have 4 legs in total. I have an everyday walking leg, I have a bike leg, I have a running leg, and then I have a cosmetic dress-up leg. And, it depends on what activities I want to do. And the thing that stinks is that, again, being above the knee, they're very long and large and heavy, whereas if you're below the knee, you can basically fit them in a backpack. And so if I go on vacation and I want to bike and run and do all that, I really have to think about what I want to pack and what I really, really want to do and what you want to carry through the airport. And, I wouldn't want to check any of them because I'd be fearful of them getting lost or stolen. So it's a whole learning experience.
Does insurance tend to cover most of those?
No, they don't.
Okay.
I've been very grateful and very thankful that my insurance at the time took the consideration of what had happened and was very good to me about it. But I would say the majority of people, they're not covered. Basically, they even tried to recently pass a bill that you're one and done with getting a prosthetic. But these prosthesis only lasts anywhere from 3 to 5 years. So one and done, especially if you're a child or younger, you're not one and done. You move on, and they wear out, they break.
So pretty much every 3 to 5 years, you need to get upgraded legs or new legs. And I'm just curious, what is your what is your outlook now? What is the biggest takeaway that you got from being a survivor of this tragedy, of this amazing time?
Well, honestly, so many people have come across over the years since it happened is basically a lot of people have said, I don't know how you do it. I would never be able to do it. And quite honestly, Nancy, I used to get nauseous at a paper cut, and I still do. But the fact of the matter is you don't know what you can go through unless you're put in that position. And one thing I have to say is that I've really tried to stay positive. Even at the moment of that happening, I tried not to freak out and get out of control and, participate in the chaos because I knew that wouldn't help. So really kind of trying to stay positive and either do a quick or a long analysis of what my choices are and try to figure out what the best route is and how it's going to move me forward. And I guess I never really thought about how much life is really about choices and really about staying positive. And I knew I had a good life before and I want a good life still. So that's what kept me moving forward, really.
And what is your relationship today to the brothers who were involved in making those sequence of events happen?
I don't even think about them, quite honestly. I really don't. It's like they don't even exist, or clearly one doesn't exist any longer. But I just don't really even think about them, honestly. Why think about it? It doesn't good.
Right.
It really doesn't do anything. So I'm going to row back.
Perfectly said. I mean, you just, why focus on that? Today's show, we're talking about overcoming obstacles. And you and I both know, me being legally blind and, you with your leg, so obstacles can be physical, they can be emotional.
Mental,
what is your
absolutely.
what is your advice for somebody today who's trying to get around an obstacle that's holding them back?
I would say my advice is take advantage of any resources that are out there and take advantage of anybody that says that they can help you or offers help. Because I know before, for me, I was a very independent person and always liked to do things on my own and do things for myself, etc. And I've quickly learned that it's better to help because people want to help. It makes them feel good, it makes you feel good, and it can make things a lot easier. And you learn things along the way. We don't know everything. We think we do, but when you're in a situation like this, there is someone who's a little bit more knowledgeable on the other side of that obstacle. And if they're there to help, you should really take advantage of it.
I love that. Perfect words to end on. And I want to thank you again, Roseanne, for being a part of our show. You are just really a powerhouse. I mean, nothing's going to slow you down. You're going to do it.
Nancy. And I'm going to do a little shameless plug, if that's okay.
We just have about 30 seconds.
Okay. Well, in the end of March, I have a book coming out that talks about the whole experience and everything positive that's come out about it.
Okay, well, everybody look out for her book. And, it's we don't want these tragedies to go on and on. We just don't. But at the same time, you're a voice for what occurred that day. And so I really appreciate you living full out every day and sharing with us your story. And again, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate the time.
Thank you. And everybody, that was Roseanne Senoia. Thank you so much for being on the show. When we come back, we're going to be taking your calls. And again, today we're overcoming obstacles together through motivation, through resources, through support. It's all about getting to the other side, living your life full out. We'll be right back after this break.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
The following message is about Medicaid and CHIP, free or low-cost health coverage for kids and teens. Enrollment is open year-round.
Hey, voice lady, give me the mic.
Okay.
Hey, DJ, let's switch up the music. That's better. So listen up, moms and dads out there. There are these programs called Medicaid and CHIP. They offer free or low-cost health coverage for kids. Things like doctor and dentist visits, prescriptions, and shots are covered. All the stuff that keeps kids like me healthy and in charge.
So, as you can tell, a covered kid is a confident kid. And it means confident parents, too. To learn more about affordable health coverage for your family, visit healthcare.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. That's 1-877-543-7669.
Yep, you could do something big for your family today because enrollment is open year-round.
This has been a message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
And Sophia.
They're gonna jump out of trees. You can't stop them. They'll go down the slide head first. They'll make parachutes out of sheets. They'll balance on things that are impossible to balance on, like the back of a couch or a windowsill or a scooter seat. They'll run with sharp objects. They'll run into walls. They'll climb things that won't hold their weight. They'll put their fingers in places where they could get smashed. They'll drive their tricycles down steep hills. They'll bounce balls off their faces. They'll step on each other. They'll jump on each other. They'll invent whole new ways to put themselves in jeopardy. But one of the most dangerous things kids will do happens while they're sitting perfectly still. Kids who ride in a car without a booster seat are much more likely to suffer serious or fatal injury during a crash than kids in boosters. But amazingly, 80% of all kids who need them aren't in them. After a toddler seat and until they're 4'9", booster kids, and don't let them down.
Go to boosterseat.gov to learn more about the importance of boosters. A message from the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Hey, Nick Cannon here. So we all know we've got a lot of talent in America. But unfortunately, there's something else we've got way too much of. Childhood hunger. 17 million kids struggle with it in this country. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gather surplus food to give hope to hungry kids and their families. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
We're your pets, and this song's dedicated to those people who don't have health insurance yet. Enroll, we say. We want you to be okay.
Health insurance is now affordable and covers prescriptions, hospitalizations, and preventive care. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn more.
And take care, people.
Brought to you by Get Covered America and the Ad Council.
In overcoming the obstacles in your life, it's about having the determination to know that you can get through it. But we don't always have to do it alone. Seeking resources that will help get you to the other side. Accepting the support of others so they can be your strength when you're not sure how or when to even take that leap. Or even if you're doubting if you'll ever recover or get to the other side and live full out. It's all about overcoming those obstacles, but doing it together and on our own to live full out.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a certified life coach, Nancy can help you to overcome challenges and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Thank you again. Welcome back to the Living Full Out show. I'm Nancy Solari, and today we're talking about overcoming obstacles in our life. And it's funny about obstacles. They're just always going to be there. You know, I've learned in life that I can wake up every day with the best of intentions that the day is going to go as I plan, or I might even just be arms wide open, whatever comes my way. I'm excited for the adventure. But you know what? The obstacles will come up. You know, we'll get a call from somebody and it won't be good news. We'll trip downstairs. We'll lock ourselves out of the car. Something will just not go the way we want. We'll get bad news about our health. We'll find out something about a friend. It can go on and on and on. But the best way to look at an obstacle is not to give it power, to just know that they're going to come in our life. They're unavoidable. But when we have a strong mindset, when we have passion in our heart and the desire to be purposeful in life and give to others and really do everything we can to just keep moving forward towards our goals and dreams, then the obstacles lose their power. They're not this gigantic mountain that's going to hold us back. And so as we continue through the show in this last segment, think about what is your obstacle in your life and how much power are you giving that obstacle? I bet you're giving it too much power, and that's a perfect time to call into the show. In fact, we're going to go right now to one of our callers and check in with them. Hello, welcome to the Living Full Out show.
Hi. Hey,
Hi.
Nancy, how you doing?
Hi, wonderful. Thank you for calling in. What's going on today?
Not much. It's a beautiful day today. I have a good question here for you, Nancy. Sometimes I feel very alone in my way of thinking. My friends often refer to me as thinking old school. Like I got an old spirit, and it just seems like the way the world is going, the wave of the world, people's attitudes is making it. I feel like it's harder for me to relate to people. Not that my thinking is old in the sense that no one else thinks that way. Maybe people in the 40 to 50-year-old demographic does. But I don't know. I just feel like I'm very isolated in my ability to connect with other people, almost instantaneously when I meet them. Is my loss of hope merited in any way?
Well, you want to look at it this way. There's always going to be wonderful people like you who are grounded, who are old school, who are into the classic, into traditions. And then there's also going to be on the other extreme, the pioneers, the ones who shake it up, who really want the out there way of thinking, who want things to be changing constantly, who are the innovators, right? You guys are kind of on two extremes. And then there's everybody in the middle, all the variations of the ways that we think, the way that we all move through the world. It isn't to say that one is right or one is wrong, but your job, my friend, is to continue to be you, to be that solid rock. Because what if the classics of you, the people who are into traditions, the people who think old school, what if you guys were not there? We would be missing a part of that way of thinking. That's an important piece that individuals like you exist in the world. just like it's important that those innovators are those risk takers are out there. And everyone in between will find that they are a little bit of both of you. They're the classic grounded traditional person and they're the innovator. So I think you just continue to be you. Now, you might get challenged from time to time where people maybe look at you funny or not you're funny looking, but look at you funny in the way that you say something because it is so mature. But I promise...
I am funny looking.
No, but I promise you this. I would rather you go through life just really feeling good about who you are. That's all that matters. Because remember, you are the star. You are the star in your life. You are the one who is writing this story. Everybody else is supporting characters, right? So live your life for you. When you go down the line in life and you're 100, 90, or whatever, you want to be able to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I lived a life on my terms. I stood for what I believed in. And that's what life is about. It's not about selling out to other people. Okay? So does that make sense?
Yeah, so what should I tell myself when I get discouraged?
When you get discouraged, you say how amazing. When you get discouraged, you say how amazing you are.
Just in terms of when I can't relate to people.
Right. When you can't relate to people, you say to yourself, it's okay that I'm different. It's when you can't relate to people, it's okay that they're different. We're not all going to relate to each other. That's the beauty of life. So just find peace in being happy with who you are. It's not about pleasing other people. It's not about the confrontations of being different. It's just about celebrating you and your outlook. Because, that's what life's about. But thank you so much for calling in. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Nancy. You've been a big help.
Thank you so much. And everybody, I want to thank you for joining today's show. Honestly, those obstacles don't have to be as big as we make them. We'll be coming back next week with a great show. And thank you again to my whole Living Full Out team who puts this show together. We got Mindy and Sam and Rich here in the studio. Thank you so much. And we'll talk to you next week. If you want to see this show, or hear the show, I should say, go to livingfullout.com, click on the Radio Show tab. It'll all be waiting there for you. Have a great day. Here's to you living your life full out.